Federal government today says there is no cause for alarm over the 2023 elections as there are fears of possible threats to the February polls. IPA says as much. Yesterday we hear more about these issues. And the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, returns to his home state of Anambra, where he held a rally promising to deliver to Nigerians real policies and dividends that will help change their lives. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloe in Abuja. We continue with the countdown. It's 45 days official now to the 2023 elections. Nigerians are anticipating the opportunity to elect their leaders in the February next year election. So get your PVC, don't be left behind, make your vote count. It's your time to get your civic responsibility done. And we are tracking the activities of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, who is presently in London alongside some of the members of his team in honor of the invitation of the British government. On the two-day working visit, Mr. Atiku will engage with various government organs in the UK, while the PDP presidential flag bearer and his team will also meet with the Archbishop of Canterbury and equally attend other programs. But today, he met with the British Minister for Africa, Andrew Mitchell, to discuss what his presidency will look like if elected into office in the areas of migration, insecurity, and finance. My colleague, Juliana Olayinka, spoke with the campaign organization in London today. I'll be bringing to you some of the sound bites and the sideline of that meeting today. So, Mr. Peter Obi, it was a homecoming for him in Onitsha, a very, very familiar terrain for him, and we'll be hearing more about what this means for Peter Obi, the Southeast, and of course, the Labour Party and the obedient supporters. And also, as well, on the program tonight, we shall be dissecting the issues relating to the 2023 elections, some of the fears in relation to security and what needs to be done. Is INEC fully ready? We're hearing from one of the major stakeholders in this election. Stay with me, everyone, because we need to check on your political roundup stories.
President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the people of Yobe State to vote Bola Tinubu as the new president, saying the APC flag bearer will continue on his legacy. The president spoke at the Damaturu Township Stadium during the All Progressives Congress presidential campaign rally, where he told the people why they should vote for the former governor of Lagos State, because he's the person capable to continue the work of rebuilding Nigeria, which was started over 7 years ago. The need to elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of the country has again been stressed by Senator Smart Adeyemi of Kogi West, while mobilizing Kogi indigenes resident in Kwara State. Senator Adeyemi says Tinubu remains the real deal for the presidential election.
Nigeria problem emanated when we privatized. Poorly done. Our collective work was handed over to some people.
And the Social Democratic Party senatorial candidate for Kwara South, Professor Wale Sulaiman, is promising to guarantee progress, genuine development, and effective representation if elected. At the unveiling of his Kwara South prosperity agenda in Ilorin, Professor Sulaiman says it is time for the people to choose the best to represent them. The 5-point agenda of the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will tackle issues of gender-based violence in Nigeria. That's according to the Director of Special Duties of the party's Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Bashir Adamu. He was speaking at the unveiling of the She Too Orange Nigeria project of the wife of the PDP presidential candidate, Mrs. Titi Abubakar in Abuja. The Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has urged religious leaders in Imo State to pray fervently for peace and tranquility in the state so as to ensure that the electorate can come out and vote in the general elections in February. Governor Uzodinma was speaking at the Government House Chapel in Owerri, the Imo State capital, shortly after receiving an award of excellence on charity and good works from the Catholic Bishop of Mugoro District in Tanzania for helping to build a Catholic church in the locality. A delegation of support groups loyal to the immediate past governor of Adamawa State, Mr. Umaru Bindao, say the former governor has declared his support for Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri for second term as governor of the state. The support group who visited the governor at the government house in Yola say the former governor will work for Governor Fintiri. Youths in Adamawa State are calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to impress on the leadership of the APC to ensure appointment of youths into key position after February general elections. The youths at a press conference in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, say despite the large percentage of youths registered as voters in this year's election, they are not adequately compensated in the area of appointments. They are, however, soliciting for the appointment of youths into offices to bridge the gap of leadership across board. The Adamawa State High Court sitting in Yola has disqualified Senator Ishakwa Abo, representing Adamawa North Senatorial District in the Senate, from contesting the February election, stating that Senator Abo has been expelled from the APC. According to the ruling, Justice Danladi of the State High Court held that the embattled senator and APC are bound by the resolution of Mubi North Local Government Executive dated 7th October 2022, which expelled him. Therefore, he is not entitled to enjoy any right or privilege accorded to APC members. The court further restrained APC, under which the senator is seeking re-election, from recognizing him as its candidate, saying that he cannot validly be the candidate of the party in the forthcoming general elections.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Well, yesterday, you remember what happened. We reported what the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, said. They're raising serious security concerns ahead of the general election, which will commence with the presidential and the National Assembly election. And they're asking security agencies to fish out those threatening the peaceful conduct of the forthcoming elections. Now, the Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, today is assuring Nigerians that the 2023 elections will hold as planned, despite the attacks on the facilities of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in some parts of the country. He was addressing journalists during the 17th edition of the President Buhari Scorecard series in Abuja. According to the minister, INEC is working with the security agencies to ensure that the elections are successful across the country in a peaceful atmosphere. He says federal government is assuring that the election will be peaceful. Take a listen to the Minister of Information.
The position of the federal government remains that the 2023 elections will be held as planned. Nothing has happened to change that position. We are aware that INEC is working with the security agencies to ensure that the elections are successfully held across the country. The security agencies have also continued to assure Nigerians that they are working tirelessly to ensure that the elections are held in a peaceful atmosphere. Therefore, there's no cause for alarm.
All right, you heard the minister giving assurances that all will be well. So yesterday, the members of IPAC raised the concerns that there are serious security concerns ahead of the election, and they say that these need to be nipped in the bud if the election must continue. The council promised that its concerns on the increased attacks on state facilities of INEC, as well as what it described as politically motivated killings and attacks on some political opponents across the state, are inimical to the election. The political parties also condemn plots to remove the INEC chairman and commend the judiciary for the recent judgment that quashed the allegations of non-asset declaration leveled against the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Now let's get to speak about what is really giving a lot of Nigerians worry, because if the association or the umbrella body of all the political parties are worried about the elections, although the federal government is promising that all is well, but the politicians are saying that there are serious security concerns and there are other allied issues that are possible to affect the election. What should we believe? Let's hear from the political parties. I'm now being joined by the national chairman of the Zenith Labour Party, Chief Dan Nwanyanwo. He joins us from Abuja, from his office in Abuja. Thank you so much indeed, Chief Nwanyanwo, for your time tonight. Give us an understanding. Is there something else that you know that Nigerians need to be aware of in relation to the preparations for this election? First and foremost, let's begin with the issue of security. It does look like things are worse than perhaps most Nigerians know. Is it?
Thank you, Shehu, for having me. The threat against the 2023 general election is potent. We have seen a lot of insecurity across the country, the latest being the attempt by some politicians to truncate the use of the beavers and IREV, and also taking some legal processes to get the Independent National Electoral Commission chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakub, to be removed from office and to ban him from holding public office for 10 years. First of all, they went to a court in Omahia. They had no facts. They presented nothing. It was based on speculation. The court dismissed it. They went on appeal. The Court of Appeal dismissed it. They came back to Abuja, which was dismissed last week. Probably they may go to either Damaturu or Sokoto or anywhere because they are on forum shopping. That reminds me of what happened in 1993, where the Association for Better Nigeria took a court process which truncated that election and the declaration of the results. So they are following that trajectory of using the court to stop the process of election, the use of beavers, and removing the INEC chairman. They know very well that the INEC chairman, the commission, the parties are resolute on this new innovation that is in place. We took about 2 years for us to get to where we are, and we want to get it to fruition. They don't want it. Most politicians in Nigeria, they don't like anything straight. They must involve a Gestapo tactics, which has been the bane of our political activity since 1999. They love the incident form, whereby they will bypass the card reader, even bypass anything, the voters register, and vote. Most of those, about 60% of those who are in office today in Nigeria, are beneficiaries of the incident form. But we have passed that stage. We are now having a system that has been tested, that is reliable. I am not saying that it is cast on stone. Even our lives cannot be said to be cast on stone. But at least it is better than what we have had since 1999. So we have that system whereby it will authenticate your PVC. It will ignite the machine to bring out your photograph with your thumbprint. You go and vote. Seamless process. If you don't pass through the beavers, you are not going to vote. And the result will be transmitted automatically from every polling unit to the INEC result viewing portal, which they also don't want. So these are some of the problems, the concern we had as political parties under the aegis of Interparty Advisory Council. So we decided to come together to raise this alarm, to draw the attention of Nigerians that we are seeing the hand of the monkey in the soup. And it is better we stand alert. Though we must commend the judiciary so far, what they have done in not allowing all those frivolous court cases to see the light of day. But they have not stopped. They will go ahead to do worse things. And I must tell you that Nigerians are waiting to see that judge that would allow or be part of this system, be part of the attempt to ensure that Beavers is knocked down, incident form is brought back, INEC chairman is removed. Why are they fighting the INEC chairman? He's not going to be in the state to cast votes. He's not going to sign any result. So why are you chasing him? Because he has shown commitment.
So, if I may cut in quickly. Now, you've described these people in several ways. In fact, you said they are the monkey with the hand in the soup. One thing that we need to start doing in this country is to start naming names and start shaming those who we think are capable of bringing this country to disrepute. Who are these monkeys? Who are these people? Can you give us names?
Shehu, I have given you an example of cases that were filed in court. These names exist. What we have to investigate now through the security agencies, who are their sponsors, who paid for the cases. There are individuals that went to court. I have told you the courts they went to and the outcome of the court processes. So it behoves the security agencies to unearth those behind them. Because if you look at these people, these are small fries. That was how the Association for Better Nigeria started. And the declaration of results of Hope 93 was knocked down. And that was the end of the results. That was how the winner of that election was not sworn in as president. That was Chief M.K. Abiola. And the thing took his life. They are working on the same trajectory. They are working on the same process. So I am not going to be here at Shehu to tell you this A, B, or C. Let us pick those plaintiffs to the case. Interrogate them. If they don't want to say the truth, let us use the security system. We'll get it and know those behind them. But one thing we are sure, those behind this are politicians, unpatriotic politicians, who do not want anything to be right, who do not want the electoral system to be improved. They want the old order, where you carry ballot boxes, you store ballot boxes. What is the result of the polling units will change when you get to the collation center. The train has left. Shehu, I met some parliamentarians a week before Christmas. I was walking out of Transcorp. They saw me. They called. I had Mr. Beavers. So I turned. They said, Chairman, we are calling you. I stopped. They said, I said, why are you calling me Mr. Beavers? He said, you are talking too much about the Beavers. I said, yes. Is anything wrong with it? He said, Chairman, let me tell you, we regret passing that law. They did not explain it well to us. If we had known, we wouldn't have passed it. I said, but you are entitled to some legal aids, legislative aids, you are collecting their pay. Why didn't they look at the law to interpret it for you? That is part of this problem we have. And I told them, well, the train has left the station. It is too late. He now told me they will amend it. I said, it's not for this election, and I bet you it will not work. So you can see there are different interests who do not want free, fair, credible, and transparent election. They want it in the old order. And it is difficult for somebody to bring a change in what has been benefiting him over the years, especially when that change will not be in his own interest. We are talking for common good. If you put bad people in government, they have nothing to offer. That's why we want the best. We want the best laws. We want the best persons. We want people with capacity. We want people with political will to get the right thing done. These are the people, Shehu, that are against the process. And I can assure you, we will ensure that this process comes to an end in February this year.
All right, let me ask quickly, and because you're a politician and you know the ways of politicians, can you give us an understanding and perhaps what Nigerians can do When the electoral law 2022 was being passed, there was a popular statement that was made that when there is a solution being brought into the electoral process, the politicians find ways to subvert the process. And I know that again there are plans in the works ahead of the 2023 election. What would you tell, or what can you tell Nigerians tonight that they need to look out for? The issue of vote buying is there. It doesn't look to me that we have a solution just yet to fight that. The issue of rigging the election and stealing the ballot seems to have been curtailed by the beavers. What must we do now to ensure that the sanctity of the ballot is secured in 2023, which is just 45 days away?
Yes, Shehu, I love that question, particularly the issue of vote buying. That was why we also supported this new policy of the central bank on cash movement. There is no way it will not affect those who carry huge cash to the polling units. It will affect them. And that's why you see them crying. They want it to be changed. They want it to be stepped down. And we thank Mr. President for giving approval for that. At the end of this month, 31st of January, any old naira in your notes, become in your house, in your septic tank, in the farm, becomes toilet paper. So they cannot use it. And they should restrict further our access to the new notes until after the election. That is a very good policy that the central bank governor brought, which Mr. President graciously approved. As I'm saying this now, Shehu, some are looking at me saying, what nonsense is this man talking about? I am saying what will help the democratic process. You cannot continue to buy victory with stolen funds of the people. You come to the polling unit, you park your vehicle, you'll be buying votes. We have even seen those who are buying the PVC now, giving 1,000 naira to collect PVC. Shehu, that will amount to nothing because those PVCs can never be used. But you know what they're doing? They are buying PVCs from areas of their opponents where he is popular. Not that they are going to use those PVCs they have bought now on the election day, because the owner must be present, his thumbprint must be there, it must be recognized by the beavers machine before you go and vote. So the system is good. We are aware by our intel that there is an attempt, some people are in China and Dubai somewhere, working on how to penetrate the beavers. I recall the last consultation we had with INEC, they also assured us that people are also working to make sure that it is not predictable. It cannot get into it. We are having a meeting with INEC tomorrow, political parties, and we are going to interrogate some of these issues. That is to tell you how the INEC chairman works with political parties. Our interaction has been regular and frequent, whereby we bring up concerns, we discuss it. We are having another one tomorrow. Some of these concerns, we are going to interrogate it and test it tomorrow. So what I'm saying in effect is that you cannot stop people from stealing. You cannot stop people from committing crime. But on your own part, as government and establishment, is to make sure that you don't reward bad behavior, to make sure that you punish those who are involved in criminality and doing things to truncate the system. There is nowhere in the world where citizens are completely stopped from committing one crime or the other. Some people will attempt to do so, but you must checkmate them. I am happy, and the political parties are happy with the new CBN position. It will go a long way to reduce vote buying. They are crying. Even the National Assembly, they are trying to pass a law which is too late. Central banks should not agree. They should not allow it. Even if you want to increase the withdrawal limit of citizens, let it be after the general election. Nobody should take Nigerians anymore for a ride. We are satisfied
So let me follow up on what you said in respect my question on vote buying. And this is what Chief Afe Babalola said. He has a fear. And I mean, the elder statesman seems to have a very strong position on his stance in respect of the election. And this is the fear of Chief Afe Babalola. He said the election, the presidential election, will be won by politicians with deep pocket. He says individuals with capacity, ideas might not win. Only new constitution will save Nigeria from collapse. The fear of Chief Afe Babalola is that the issue of vote buying will prevail in 2023 and the deep pockets might have their way. What do you have to say to that?
Sorry, I didn't get the last lap of your question. But I think you are referring to what the learned silk, elder statesman Afe Babalola said about vote buying. Yes, he may be correct. At the same time, he may also not be right. You see, in the past, it was possible. Now, we have what the CBN has done. I'm hammering on it. Unless the CBN, suo motu, on its own, decides to sabotage its own policy, that is where Chief Afe Babalola's position will be credible. But if they stick and insist on what is, a lot of people will not have money to buy votes. Don't forget, Shehu, a lot of people are still afraid to bring out the money they have stuck somewhere. It will be useless in the next 2 weeks. They can no longer use it. And they cannot just get to the bank and start withdrawing huge sums of money to buy votes. And majority of the voters are not on accounts that you start transferring. So that is a good innovation. I'm not too sure Malone Silk, our senior elder statesman, is aware of these positions. Yes, as I said, you will not stop somebody from committing a crime. They will attempt to. But you have to checkmate as much as possible what is humanly possible. Politicians are smart people. And people put in Nigeria, politicians put in Nigeria, most politicians put in Nigeria are different from politicians put in any other part of the world. What they do here, you cannot have it in other climes. And that is why this election must be a determining factor to retire many of them, so that they can allow fresh air into the system, whereby we will practice politics without bitterness, whereby Nigerians will have the right to choose their leaders. We have never had that since, just in few cases. In most of the times, it's that through ballot buying, ballot stuffing, ballot box stuffing, and so on and so forth. That's how they came to power. And they don't want a change because it will not be in their own interest. But that law has been passed. Mr. President has signed, assented to the law. It is effective. INEC is determined. INEC is determined to push it to the end. INEC has the political parties' support. Let me say all political parties. If there is a political party that is not giving us support based on what we said, she'll come out and say so. But the press conference we addressed yesterday was for 18 registered political parties. We met and we took that decision. If a political party is opposed to our position for the use of beavers, for the use of INEC results viewing portal, for INEC chairman to remain with these commissioners to push through this system, let such political party come out to say so they disagree with IPAC. But as far as what we did yesterday, all the political parties are in tandem with the contents of the document.
All right. Chief Uwanyao, yeah, let's take a breather. I'm still, we've not gotten to the point of the security, the breakdown of the attacks on INEC facilities. We perhaps also anchor on that matter when we return from this break. And everyone also, let's hope that we will be speaking tonight with one of the Labour Party spokesperson, and we'll be discussing Peter Obi's homecoming. What does this mean for the Peter Obi Dati ticket and the 2023 election? Through me, everyone. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, everyone. It's my guys that speak into my ear sometimes say things that make me happy, and that's why you see the smiles on my face. But you're not seeing me smiling. Maybe they're telling me things that are not making me happy. But it's a good day anyways. Well, let's get back to the conversation. Everyone has been speaking with the national chairman of the Zenith Labour Party, Chief Dan Onwayao. Now, let's get to the point of the security of materials, INEC officials, and of course the facilities of INEC. There's been a series of attacks on those facilities, and this is one of the issues that IPAC raised yesterday. There was a warning though that one of an INEC officials raised a few days ago, who said that if this trend continues, it might force their hand in shifting the election, and that is not good news at all. Does this bother you in any way?
Yes, it should bother every Nigerian, not only myself. Everything is in place to get this election moving. Everything is in place. It is now left for the security agencies to provide security. You cannot take a ward, a youth corper or anybody to put in a place that he may not come back. Everything shown on the part of INEC political parties, we are good to go. But if, for one reason or the other, due to security reasons, things like this is heightened close to the election, there is need for us to be concerned. And that time it has left our threshold, it has left our purview. It is now within the security agencies to do what they're supposed to do. I don't want to anticipate what will happen, but I pray we don't get to that point. Security is key. Adequate preparations have been made. INEC is ready, political parties are ready, and we are good to go. The issue is the security. I cannot even go and vote when I'm not sure that after voting I will leave the polling unit. And I want to remind Ishewu, I'm not only the national chairman of Zenith Labour Party. Please introduce me properly. I'm also a presidential candidate of the party. So I am talking on two positions. So let us try and get the security agencies to work. Let them ensure that we have security from the polling unit till every member, every citizen of Nigeria with PVC votes and leaves. This is the problem we are going to have. But as for the arrangements, everything has been done, everything has been put in place. Security agencies should please wake up and do what they're supposed to do.
Perhaps let's anchor on this point. The endorsement that we have been saying by elder statesman, you are also in, you have your hat in the ring. I'm not sure if it's exactly this hat that you have on, but I know your name is on the ballot. But these endorsements have been coming, and those who have criticized those endorsements, that look, these elder statesmen should have kept their position to themselves. Let me get your take on that. And perhaps also you can also mention, I usually don't like to ask double barrel question, but because of our time, you might also be able to deal with this. You are all from the southeast region of the country, and there seems to be some concerns because most of the attacks that we have seen on INEC facilities are from the southeast region. What do you think is the solution?
Well, about the endorsement of certain candidates over the others, I don't have a problem with it. It is your right to do so. And most of the times, it will not work the way you think. So anybody, any citizen, whether senior citizen or an association, can endorse anybody. We are going to the market to seek for votes. The Hausa man will say, Gafili Gadoki. That is the horse, that is the field. We are going for the race. There is no need for anybody to be worried over any endorsement. Now, as per the Southeast insecurity in the Southeast, I have made my position very, very clear. Right from the time there was jailbreak in Imo facility at Owerri prisons. My position was very clear, and that's still my position. The insecurity you have seen in the Southeast was imported because of where we are going now. So that they would demarcate people like us from the Southeast that we cannot be president because there is insecurity in our place. It was imported. And the difference from that time and now is that they have now been able to get some locals who are now doing this dirty job. As at the time we had the jailbreak in Owerri, those people were not Igbos. They were not IPOP. They were not ESN. I said it then, Google, you will see my position. But they have discovered that that will be exposing them too much, those who did it. Now they have succeeded in recruiting locals, never do wells, charlatans, who have nothing to do, no skill, no education. They are the ones doing the killings today in the Southeast. So, and the intendment has not changed. The intendment is to demarket the Southeast so that every Nigerian will see how can you be president when there is insecurity in your place, as if that is the only place we have had such a thing, which is a new thing in the Southeast. What is happening in the Southeast is alien to us. It is not part of our culture. It is not part of our tradition. And somebody like us will have condemned it in its entirety. So let anybody take it the way he likes. This is not our doing.
Chief Iwaya, please do find time. Let's discuss your agenda as a presidential candidate. I was discussing with you earlier on. This conversation is about the 2023 and your position as the national chairman. Do find time. Let's sit down and talk to you as a national, as the presidential candidate of your party. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
I'm available from next week. I'm available next week for any media, any discussion. From next week, day to day.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. We'll see you then. So we reported to you earlier that the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, is in the UK. He was in London earlier today where he met with where he's planned to meet with various government organs in that country. And he met with the British Minister for Africa, Andrew Mitchell. My colleague Juliana spoke with the campaign spokesperson, Dino Melai. Take a listen to him.
We're in London on the invitation of the British government, and this morning we met with the Minister of State, Africa and Development and Africa, Andrew Mitchell, and we also met with directors of national security. We met with the director in charge of open space. We met with about 7 departmental heads and directors of government agencies in the UK, and it was a robust meeting, and we had very robust discussions on the economy, on defense, on security. We also have a lot of talk on immigration issues. It was a very great meeting. Our candidate is busy engaging Nigerians and those who actually have the capacity to vote. Not that he's not interacting globally. He's visited presidents across the globe more than any other presidential candidate. As far as the last count, in the last 2 months, Atiku Abubakar has visited about 7 African presidents, especially in the ECOWAS region, to interact with them and to discuss the issue of insecurity across the region on how to tackle it. And no other presidential candidate have done that.
Senator Dino Melai, spokesperson of the PDP, on the sidelines of the meetings with the Atiku Abubakar, the candidate, and some British government officials. Now, it was homecoming for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. He's gone back home to meet his people, the people of Anambra State. And it was some very cheering news for those who welcome him at our open rally today. Let's take a look at what this means for the Labour Party and the race generally. I'm being joined by one of the spokespersons of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Organization, Miss Indy Kato, joins me live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Indy, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What does this homecoming mean? Onitsha is particularly very personal to Mr. Obi.
Of course.
So what does this mean for him?
I mean, this is interacting with your people, and it's such a beautiful thing to see, to go home and have people who are that emotionally invested. I mean, there are candidates in this election that I know that they go back to their states, it's not going to be like this. This is, I mean, he has been to Anambra before. For him to have to come back again to Onitsha, it means, and I see this on the campaign trail, people begging, please, we want you to come here. There is so much we want to do when you come here. And this is one of those incidents, because I had someone asking today, why is he in Anambra again? But it is what it is, and you can see the reception, you can see an acceptance that this is our candidate. This is a son of the soil. We are super proud of this man, and we're going all the way to support him. And that's what happened in Anambra today. Social media has been agog. So many pictures, so many videos. Everybody wants to show what they contributed to this outing in Anambra. And that is the thing we have. You know, when you have organic followership, people are doing with their own efforts. You don't have to wait. And you understand the political terrain of Nigeria, where you have to mobilize. And then these people will bring their separate uniforms. You know, you will see people with the different people they mobilize to come. But this is a gathering of people who know that this is happening, and they're invested in this election. They want better leadership for Nigeria. They have seen that better leadership, and there's no better place than home to show that, look, this man has led well. He has shown great example in Anambra. The people of Anambra people are endorsing him with these statements they are making on the streets. They're endorsing him with this movement, and they're showing that, look, we believe him, he has worked before, and he's going to work again. So this is, I mean, usually prophets are not admired at home, but this one is loved at home, and it's good to see.
I mean, but what you just said, the proverb is right, that sometimes prophets are not well received or respected at home. He has received a lot of opposition also from his state. I mean, there has been criticism, and some for those who think that it's going to be a walk in the park, not only in Anambra State but also in the southeast region of the country.
What we are seeing,
the past incident and comments from people from Anambra State, some people, not everyone, some people have shown that it's not going to be as easy as your party think.
So, I mean, we don't think that this is a walk in the park. I mean, just by campaigning, we see how difficult this is. Elections are not a joke at all. But what we are seeing is the people against the political class. The political class in some of these spaces are used to a patronage system, a system where if you bow to it and do the right things according to that system, the system will make way for you. Everybody thinks that they are going to be the next one. It's not easy hoping that, you know what, one day it's going to be me, you know, my region is going to have a chance to produce a president, and I'm meant to be the one. I have done this, I have done that, and then you see that one person has all of this organic love, all of this organic support. This is where we are seeing the pushback from. I mean, if you come to my place in Southern Kaduna, I can give you an example. We have the people on one side that are, you know, overwhelmingly supporting Peter Obi, and on the other hand, you have the political class who are used to a certain political party. Many of these people have been employed since 1999 by a political party. Many of these people have made their money in one side of the political divide. It's very difficult for them to see a revolution happening, for them to see this whirlwind and this kind of change happening and then be a part of it. It's that fear, the fear of the unknown. Will this system that has benefited me for so long, this flawed system that I know is flawed, has benefited me for so long, how will it work with the kind of change that this man is bringing? And it's expected. But to say that, of course, to say that, you know, Anambra State or many of the people in Anambra State do not support Peter Obi, that is not true.
There are 5 states in the southeast region, and there are the tendency whenever you are having election of the advantage of your of where you come from. How much of benefit can Peter Obi get from the southeast?
Oh, we're seeing, and this is a very good question. I was in the southeast a couple of days ago, and in Imo State, for example, you know, on social media, we have people complaining like, oh, we haven't seen your posters. We haven't seen your posters. You need to put more posters. You need to do. And I was in this village, and everybody, the one person that was not obedient in the village had to answer a lot of questions, because people are overwhelmingly supporting Peter Obi in these spaces, poster or not. And that is it. So one of the problems we used to have in the southeast region was voter apathy. The Igbo man wants to face his business and just wants to be left peacefully to do these things, you know, not really invested in these elections. But we are seeing that there's an increased investment in what is happening in the country. And it's not like they were not interested before, but many believe that your votes will not count and all of those stories that go around. So we just want to mind our business and do things, you know. But when things start affecting you, insecurity, the educational system, all of this is beginning to bite hard, even in spaces where there is a proper reward system for hard work. Even the Igbos are feeling it. So now they're putting their their hands on the plow and deciding we're going to be part of this election. But it's not just being part of the election. They have found a credible candidate. Let's not make the mistake of saying that this is an Igbo candidate. No, this is a complete Nigerian candidate, and who has said repeatedly that do not vote for me because of where I come from. But the good thing about it is that people from his region have experienced him before, and of all the leaders they have had, and the South does not have, is not short of leaders. They have had so many people come and go, and of all these many people who have come and go, this is one come and gone. This is one man that we can put our trust in, and we understand. And
Indy,
so, yeah,
you are too intelligent to simply think that this election is just going to be by what we see on the surface. It's deeper than that.
Of course
now,
it is.
The question I'd like to ask you is, there is an advantage and there is a disadvantage. For Peter Obi, this could be a disadvantage. And let me ask you, the region where it comes from has the least voting population. Now, not only, the illusion you made that Igbo people are commerce-oriented and perhaps they will want to face their business on the day of election.
That was in the past, of course.
But the question really is, there is a fear. Analysts and scientists have postulated that, look, there is a possibility of voter apathy in the Southeast region because of the phenomenon of sit at home, coupled with the least voting population bloc in the country. Is this not too much of a disadvantage?
So, with respect to sit at home, what I've seen is a pushback recently. I've seen a pushback where conversations have been, there have been attempts at conversations for telling people to not come out and vote, or sit at home, do not do this, and we have seen people pushing back. The South is saying that we're not going to do this in these elections. I've seen so many young people dedicate their own resources to ensure that people register to vote. You can see all of the complaints coming from the Southeast. We went to collect our voters. This is a movement that we haven't seen before. This is something that we haven't seen before. And what I always ask is that you people from the media should at least recognize that something different is happening, Sheol. And that's that's the
reason why we are invited, isn't it?
You speak like you can't recognize that.
Didn't we recognize the fact that there is usually a 2-horse race? And we have said that it's more than 2-horse race.
Of course.
Why do politicians always blame the media? Blame yourselves. I will never allow, same thing almost happened yesterday. I will never allow you guys blame the media.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Something different is happening. Something different is happening. We're seeing a sharp drop in voter apathy. Not just that people decided they are going to vote, they're putting in so much effort. You're seeing people reporting on social media, on other spaces, every avenue they have, the progress in collecting their voters cards. People are posting their voters cards. We've not seen this kind of thing before, especially in the Southeast. Now, we may say they do not have the numbers, but again, Peter Obi is not an Igbo candidate. What good thing he has is that every politician needs to have a base. He has a strong base. People are not indifferent about Peter Obi, and that's the worst thing that can happen to a candidate. I won't want to mention names, but there are candidates that do not have a strong base. You may hear of them on the national scene, but to go to a place where in this space people are so emotionally invested in this.
Yeah, person, you've touched on one area that,
and it's not just the Southeast, the South too. I won't want us to escape that.
Even in the Southeast, there are 5 states, and so when I talk about disadvantage, there is a region that has 7 states. There are other regions that has 6 states. Southeast has 5 states. Now, not only that, they have the least voting population. Not only that, out of the 5 states, 2 are being controlled by the APC. The rest, 1 is being controlled by APGA, and the 2 others are being controlled by the PDP. Now, you look at your party, Labour Party, you cannot boast of 1 governor. I'm not sure you have any senator. Now, the question is, the practical aspect and the reality of politics is that when election comes, you need, just a moment, you have people who will fight for you right at the polling unit. Now, the big question is that not only that, you have people that will do the legwork for you. Now, and this is what the PDP and the APC will boast of. This is what APGA will boast of. They have 1 state. Now, what do you have in terms of structure?
We have the people, Sheol. We have the people. And I keep saying, I need you to recognize this. You're refusing to. We have the people. Today, I met a gentleman this morning. I think his name is Beth. And, just out of the blues, he told me he's a polling unit agent. This is a normal person. He has his job. He has what he's doing. What the political system is used to is people that they settle, They oil this well-oiled machine to keep going. And what we are seeing now is that the everyday man wants to take upon this job of securing this country, securing the elections, making sure that the elections are delivered. And that's what we have on our side. The carpenter, the man who works in the bank, everybody is taking it upon themselves, and that's what we have. So the thing is, when we are having this conversation, we're having this conversation in, I think that what has happened with Labour Party is that there has been a shift. in the way things are happening. And we're actually dictating the tune of these elections. We have dictated so far. But what is happening is that lack of recognition that a change is happening and a complete reliance on the old way of doing things. On the old way.
Could the steam that we are seeing with the Labour Party, no one would deceive himself or herself that there is no movement. There is a movement of a political party. Now, the question is whether or not that movement is enough to win an election now.
The movement.
Do you think that
the movement is
that
enough,
it's enough
to of course it is.
To germinate into winning a national election?
I think that we make so many steps forward, and these questions bring us back. We make so many steps forward, and what we keep seeing is, you know what, we can see the progress you are making on this platform, on this trail that you have blazed, that other people are looking on. Enviously, they do not know how to get this same system that Labour Party has gotten. But each time we get questions, each time we are engaged, you know what happens? They want to take what has been created on this separate platform and fit it into the old order, into the old ways of doing things. Like, oh, you people are doing this right, but because it's not the way we are used to seeing. And that is why I'm calling that we should adjust. Adjust. I need you to adjust.
It means that you should be speaking to Nigerians. You should be talking to them, canvassing for them for their votes. In the United States, there are more than 2 political parties.
Of course.
But in the general election, 2 political parties battle it on the field. The question is that in Nigeria, you know what happened in 2014.
That used to be the case till this tsunami.
So I mean,
that used to be the case till this tsunami.
You know why? You can't
avoid.
Indy, let me tell you, you will wish that you were a journalist at this time. You know why?
Why?
This is going to be a very, very interesting election, and when an election is interesting, it's exciting for journalists to cover. And I can't wait.
You have us to thank for that. You have us not showing you have Labour Party to thank for that.
We can't wait. We'll wait to see how this all pan out, and I wish you and your political party the very best. Indy Keto, spokesperson of the Labour Party PCC. Thank you so much, Indy.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimale. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.